Hey, I'm Raina Douris, host of Mornings on CBC Music, and I'm honored to say the host of the Polaris Music Prize Gala this year. We're fresh off our big shortlist announcement. If you missed it, you can check out the 10 Canadian albums that made the list at cbcmusic.ca/Polaris. Just yesterday, we invited our panel of Polaris jurors to share their thoughts on the 40-album long list, their predictions on who would make the shortlist, and now we're going to find out how they did. They're back to share their fresh reactions to the 10 records that have just been nominated for the shortlist. Here is who is joining us. We'll go this way over. Melody Lau, an associate producer at CBC Music. She has written for Pitchfork, Exclaim, and Nylon Magazine. Guillaume Moffet, senior editor at Spotify Canada. He's also the former editor-in-chief at Ottawa Express and Voir cultural newspapers and former A&R exec at SOCAN. This is his 9th year on the Polaris Music Prize jury. And Melissa Vincent, a writer, editor, and community organizer based out of Toronto. She's currently the editor at A-Side, and her work has appeared in Pitchfork, Billboard, The Fader, The Globe and Mail, Exclaim, and the West End Phoenix. Thank you for joining me again today, guys. We've got lots to talk about. Just quickly, how are you feeling right now?
Excited.
Okay.
Good.
Excited?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tentatively excited?
But still excited, I think.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, I know you've lots to say. Let's just start with a nice, gentle, easy one. Of all of the 10 artists on the shortlist this year, who are you most excited to just see perform at the gala? Melody, do you want to start?
I think Partner's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
Like, I actually haven't seen them live before, but I've heard so many people say so many great things about them.
Yeah.
That I think it's going to be a really good performance.
Guillaume?
You guys haven't seen Hubert Lenoir yet, and it's a show. It's
Okay, give us just a tiny taste.
like a David Bowie-esque type of performance.
Wow.
He's massively entertaining on stage.
I was just watching the Lenoir performance the other day. It's pretty great.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really excited to see Pierre Kwenders perform.
Yeah.
I have heard about his dance moves and I don't know, I could just see
It's
it.
sexy.
It's sexy.
If you listen to the album, you can sort of hear, it wouldn't just be like a guy up on stage with a microphone. It's like something is going to happen.
Totally. And I'm just I think it's going to be really vibrant, and I'm excited to see that come to life.
Absolutely.
On stage.
Now, was there an album, if you're looking at that short list, that made it through that you didn't expect to see? Melissa, you go ahead. Start with you.
I'm a little bit surprised to see the Alvaays album there. I mean, and surprised is I don't know if it's the best word, because I feel like the Polaris is just sort of a fan of that band. I think personally, I thought that there were so many strong albums on the long list, albums that were just breaking really new ground in a bunch of different genres. I feel like it was just a really rich year for that, and I think
Right, and they are one of the, I think, few past nominees on there, really.
Yeah, I think them and
a lot of new
Leaves.
ones this year.
Yeah.
Melody, is there somebody that you're surprised to see?
We were talking about this before, and I think some of us might have forgotten that Weaves had put out a record immediately after that last one, because it's their second year in a row nominated.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how often that happens, but...
Yeah, I don't think it happens that often. Now I'm trying to think.
Because at last year's gala, they actually premiered a song off of that record.
That's right, with Tanya Tagaq.
Yeah.
Right, that was, so you're just surprised because you forgot it existed.
I mean, a little bit, but also it's impressive how it's kind of stayed on the minds of the jurors for that long then.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And Guillaume?
I'm surprised to see this much Quebecois artists on the short list. So Pierre is based in Montreal, and Hubert is based in Quebec City, and Jean-Michel as well. Not in Quebec City, but in Montreal. So I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
And surprised as well, because it's been a while since Quebecois artists have made. No, it's not true. Lisa LeBlanc was the last one 2 years ago, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It is a pretty.
And she's not Quebecois. She's
from New Brunswick.
Yes.
But she does sing in French sometimes as well.
Yes.
But it is a pretty interesting spread of as far as language goes too.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there who's not on the list that you think should be on that list? Guillaume, let's start with you.
Louds, Une année record. This guy has made probably the most cohesive hip hop album of the year, and it's in French. And people might have not understood it and not liked it, but it's to me it's the French version of like a massive Drake record. Or
a really interesting thing is if your jury is majority Anglophone and you have a hip hop album and it's so dependent on lyrics.
The lyrics, yes.
That's a really interesting point.
Even though he plays with English every now and then, but it's a French record.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the jury really understood it, but yeah.
Melody, who do you think isn't on the list that you think deserves to be there?
So I don't think it's a secret, but like a lot of the jurors have a Facebook group too outside of the message board. And I just took a look at it, and the one comment was Cadence Weapon was robbed.
Right.
Which I kind of agree because it was on my ballot. Yeah, it's weird because like there's some hip hop on this short list, but I think Cadence Weapon was maybe a front runner for that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I might have just gotten lost in the vote.
Melissa?
I am a little bit sad not to see Zaki Ibrahim on the short list.
I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I still can't get over how dynamic that album is, and it's like whatever you're looking for, there's something there for you. But I also find it interesting that like, you know, she shares a label with Jesse Lanza, and like they definitely feel like they operate in a similar space, and you know, she's an artist that the Polaris jury has sort of welcomed.
Right.
So I think that it's almost like there is some sort of precedent there, or at least some familiarity.
There is also the hope that, you know, with all those artists you just mentioned, that they are on that long list, and maybe, you know, now that they've had that little boost of recognition, people will go back and check them out if they haven't yet.
Totally.
So hopefully that will happen. So the grand jury is the group that makes the final decision in September. They're supposed to be judging this album on merit alone without considering the whole career of the artist. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but how it's kind of, you look at an artist's album sometimes as a culmination of work they've done before, or is it as good as what they've done before? That can be really hard. How would you do that? How would you take an album and just look at it on its own? Guillaume, just because you put your face in your hands, I have to ask
but
you
it's
first.
so tough. We, as music critics, we are biased by definition, and it's hard to leave like our knowledge and what we've acquired in terms of like live performances and with the artists, and but yeah, I think. I don't know. I think it would be really sitting with the record and sticking, like doing your best to actually just focus on the 10 or 12 songs.
Right. Yeah.
And like lyrics, melody, music, production, what else? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been on the grand jury.
Okay.
And that is what we try to focus on. I mean, all that other stuff really does seep in, but we try to focus on like the album and the songs and kind of the, you know, the overall kind of message of
Can
the
you take us inside that room? I've never been on the grand jury. Have either of you? Okay.
No.
So what's it like in the room, in the grand jury during because it happens while the the award ceremony is on. And I hear it's intense.
Well, there's also the dinner before. Like, there's something
Right.
that happens the night before where everyone kind of meets up and, like, talks about their records. And then kind of the night of is where you kind of narrow it down and you kind of really argue for what's really 5 records. And it is pretty tense, except I think my year was called the friendliest year.
Oh, wow.
I was told to argue more.
You're too nice.
But it's really intense. People get really passionate. I've heard that there are tears in other
Have there ever been
years.
really fist fights? It's Canadian
hope
music.
not.
Probably not. Okay. All right. Last question for you guys before I let you go, before this all sort of takes on a life of its own out there. There's $50,000 on the line with the Polaris Music Prize. The jury will be making the decision in September. But right now, and I think you knew what I was going to ask, who do you think deserves to win the Polaris Prize this year? Melissa, go ahead.
I think I would be really happy if Daniel Caesar took home the prize. I think Freudian is such an incredible accomplishment for him, and yeah, it feels like it's already an instant classic. So I think I would be happy with
All right,
that.
we've got one vote for Daniel Caesar.
I
Guillaume?
think. Oh my God. Yes, Danny Caesar. It's instant classic.
Yeah.
I think we will go back to it in 15 years and say like this was an important record.
Yeah.
But Jean-Michel Blais, if you guys still haven't listened to it, it's a problem because it's beautiful. So I don't know. I would be really happy with both, but I think Daniel Caesar will win it.
Okay, Melody.
Yeah.
I also voted for Daniel Caesar. So
Oh, wow. Okay. So Daniel Caesar just swept our panel. I guess we'll see what happens when the jury convenes on September 17th. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about all this. I'm sure you'll have lots to think about when you go home.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you to Melissa, Guillaume, and to Melody. We've heard from them. Now we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think of this year's shortlist, the 10 nominees, by tweeting using the hashtag Polaris 2018. Do you think you know who might walk away with the $50,000 prize? That will be handed out at the Polaris Music Prize Gala Monday, September 17th at the Carlo in Toronto. You'll be able to stream it live here on the CBC Music Facebook page and at cbcmusic.ca/Polaris. If you'd like to check it out in person, tickets to the gala will be available the first week of August through ticketmaster.ca. Tonight, you will get a chance to hear from a bunch of your nominated albums. They will all get a little bit of airtime on Drive with Rich Turf Fry this afternoon, 6 p.m., 6:30 in Newfoundland on CBC Music. Don't forget, you can stay tuned to cbcmusic.ca/Polaris for more Polaris coverage as we count down the weeks to the big gala. I can't wait. I'm Raina Douris. Thank you so much for watching.